Okay, quick. Think of 5 people you know that are tough. I'm not just talking strong, but like tough, you know? Bad, dangerous, possibly alluring. If today's topic doesn't change that list and drop our profound savior to the very top of it, I'll have failed the short god. I have received many requests asking me to go over the story of Beetlejuice. This one is pretty significant to me because I grew up listening to the Howard Stern show, and it goes without saying that I find the Whack Pack to be an endless supply of entertainment. But Beetlejuice is something different. He's not just the best of the Whack Pack, but rather an enigma that has left a significant mark on society and human history, arguably more than any other person to ever exist. Lester Green, known better and lovingly by his nickname Beetlejuice, was born on the 2nd of June 1968 in Browns Mills, New Jersey. He is the second youngest of 6 children. For most of his youth, he lived in the Marion housing projects. To put it simply, Beet was a different kind of kid, having been born with microcephaly and dwarfism. For those of you unaware, microcephaly is a condition that causes a person to be born with a smaller head. This usually occurs most often when the brain fails to grow at a normal rate, either before birth or during early infancy or childhood. His head size is about 15 3/4 inches around. For reference, a typical head size is anywhere from 21 to 23 inches. His height caps at about 4 feet 3 inches and he weighs about 100 pounds, or at least that's what I could find online. If you ask Beet his size, he'll tell you that he's 6 foot 9 inches and 480 pounds. If you ask me, we should just round it up to 7 foot and the whole 4 foot 3 inches thing is a myth, rumors perpetuated by his enemies. His head size limited the development of his brain, giving him a noticeable intellectual disability. However, his afflictions never really held him back. The aforementioned disabilities were a point of contention for him in the housing district he lived in, as people would often make rude comments about his appearance and mental capabilities. Beet, however, wouldn't take any nonsense from anybody and would always fire back, because he's the boss and he's in charge. His quick replies and sharp wit help him diffuse any situation he may ever find himself in.
That's a talking chicken.
Yeah, I saw that.
You did? Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
I used to own chickens.
Sandra, say hi to Beetlejuice.
Hey, Beetlejuice.
Hey, what's up, chicken?
Hey,
It's me, the talking chicken.
you see
Yeah.
him? He's talking to you.
Yeah, I hear.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
You look like a little freak, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I've,
Don't
take-
say that. The chicken, let me see that chicken.
Hey,
Why are you saying that?
I've taken chicken dumps bigger than you, Beetlejuice.
Yeah? I own chickens, buddy.
Look
What?
at this guy.
Are you,
He's a bird, but I cook him up for dinner.
you think you're tough?
That's right, I cook him up for dinner.
You think you're tough? You want to fight?
Yeah.
You want to fight me?
Come on. Bring it out, brother. Come on out.
Come
You're gonna fight the chicken?
Come on out.
Beetlejuice was placed in special education when he was in school because of the aforementioned disability. Turns out the mother of Jerry O'Connell, an actor known for a variety of films, namely Kangaroo Jack, was actually one of Beet's teachers. He claims that Beet was a good student and that he did special work for her as her assistant, just showcasing that Beet's heart of gold was present since adolescence. As Beet got older, his taste changed. 2 things that he learned he truly loved were beer and cigarettes. What other place than a gas station or a shitty diner is going to serve you liquor and possibly let you smoke? That's right, a low-end local bar. Beet was getting liquored up one fateful night in Jersey City, unaware of how the trajectory of his life was going to change very soon. That same night, Shawn Rooney entered the bar and noticed Beet from across the room, through the dense fog of the stale smoke. He struck up a conversation with the main man and realized that there was a lot of untapped potential in Beetle. He could see something that other people might not have seen before. Beet, by all intents and purposes, was going to be a star, and Shawn knew just how to put him to work. It's believed that Shawn is also the person who gave Beet his iconic nickname. The genesis for his name actually resides in the movie by the same name, as there is a character called Harry the Hunter who has a shrunken head. The parallel was drawn by Shawn, and Beet was then named after the movie. Shawn had been building something of an unorthodox business. He was looking for a certain type of person to fit a certain type of role for his venture, something along the lines of show business. You see, he was running a little operation called Dwarf Tossing. Yes, it's exactly how it sounds. He would be hired to appear at events or other get-togethers, and people would pay money to pick up a supplied little person and throw them onto a mattress. Nothing more than that. Just plain and simple, good old-fashioned fun for a bunch of drunken idiots. I'm sorry, I can't. I mean, how is this shit even legal? I can't judge because my entire online career is about gawking at unusual people, but even this seems a bit too extreme for me. Like, who just comes up with this business model? How do you approach somebody to work with you on it? Oh well. Either way, the business was quite successful in commanding about $600 an hour just for an appearance alone, but these sort of things don't typically get a lot of mainstream attention. You weren't going to see Beetlejuice headlining theaters for getting tossed, and quite frankly, there wasn't much of a market for this thing that could easily beat reach at the time. But Shawn had another trick up his sleeve, and this was gonna work. Monday, July 14th, 1999. It was a morning like any other in New York City. Packed streets, dense pedestrian traffic, the smell of vehicle emissions and hot dog grease in the air. The city that never sleeps was still as energetic as ever, but nobody was prepared for what was going to come through the radio systems that day. Shawn had managed to book an appearance on the Howard Stern show to promote his blossoming business, bringing along Frank Third Degree Burns, one of his employees, and of course Beetle, but Frank was supposed to be the star. Before Beat made his worldwide appearance, he was waiting in the green room with Frank and Shawn. According to Howard, he caught a glimpse of Beat when he was passing by to enter the studio, noticing Beat's small head and big drip, donning a white suit and hat. Howard was intrigued. The three amigos went into the studio once their time had come, along with Frank's girlfriend, who was a little upset with him due to his promiscuity, but that really isn't here nor there. Anyway, Stern was immediately enamored of Beat, asking him plenty of questions and more or less steering the interview towards Beetle's direction, which obviously was a good decision because Beat is quite the treat.
Beetlejuice, what's your story? Where
did you come from?
are you an entertainer or?
Yeah.
You are. Where can we see someone like you? You have a very tiny head.
I got a big head.
Yeah, you got a small head.
I got a head as large.
Stern has remarked that Beetlejuice is a once-in-a-lifetime guest and would continue to have him appear on the show for years to come. Beetlejuice's Stern Show appearances would always stand out as something special, with Stern claiming that he would always book Beat regardless of who was appearing that day, even rescheduling appearances so that way our tiny hero could bless the airwaves with his wisdom. Most of the time Beat would show up, he'd come in with a costume on, like he was dressed up as a leprechaun or a biker, with the latter actually featuring him riding a small motorcycle into the studio. Nobody has really commanded such an on-screen presence like Beetlejuice. These appearances were often critiqued by people despite their popularity because Stern was supposedly exploiting developmentally disabled people. And while the show has certainly been used as a device to gawk at a variety of people, it opened many avenues for Beetle and others that likely wouldn't have been available otherwise. Say what you will, but Beat definitely benefited from Stern's interest. Alongside the criticism, many people have claimed that Beat was either drunk or high during a handful of his visits. Even if that is somehow true, it only created a better show. But before we wrap up talking about Beat's involvement with the Stern Show, I have to mention Stern's diabolical plan for the 17th AVN Awards. You see, Stern had won an award, but he had decided that he didn't want to go. However, he opted to send Beetlejuice in his place to accept the award and maybe share a few moving words. This went about as well as you would expect. Beat did do it, but he ended up getting kicked off the stage when he was allegedly incoherently rambling. But you and I know he was really just spitting facts.
I don't bet he got in and there was Stern here. How you like it? I have a dream. I love it.
Alright.
I'm hot and I'm better.
And I'm in charge, so come on. The show is 2 hours. I promise you, friends, 2 hours. We gotta go.
It really doesn't matter what that stupid bitch on the stage said. The audience loved him. Beetlejuice's appearances in entertainment media didn't stop at the Stern Show, as it was merely just a stepping stone for him. It was just the thing he needed to properly jumpstart his career. For example, one of his most notable appearances was on WCW Nitro that happened so long ago. Our hero was dressed as Superman, the exact same costume that he donned while being tossed onto mattresses by drunks, and encountered Jeff Jarrett backstage during a show. Beat, being the brave and confident stud that he is, proceeded to call Jeff Slapnut. This ended with Beat getting whacked over the back of his head with a guitar. He later jumped in Jarrett's WCW Championship match and allegedly got smacked around, but Beat totally mopped the floor with his competition. During the time when he was more active on the Stern Show, he had a 5-episode miniseries on Howard TV called This Is Beetle, featuring Beat and his new manager Bobby, the brother of Shawn Rooney, who unfortunately had passed away in 2009. The show was obviously centered on Mr. Juice as he went about his daily routines and fulfilled his work-related obligations. The show was only available on the now-defunct Howard TV, but you can find episodes online with very little effort. According to claims made by Beat on the show, he had the following jobs: a bus driver, a police officer, going by the name Officer Fucknuts, and of course an award-winning boxer and coach completely undefeated. During this period, he claimed that he trained with the greats, but he also oversaw Bobby's workout regimen, as Bobby was a boxer and Beat knew more than him. Speaking of his boxing career, according to Beat, the most important part of his workout routine is stretching his nuts. Don't ask me how, and please don't try it, because it's probably not worth it.
Stretch your nuts, you don't have a nut.
What do you mean when you say stretch my balls? You really want me to pull them?
Oh, when you stretch your balls, you stretch your balls. What else you gotta do?
Despite how much Beat loves to feel his hands tucked away in some gloves, he's been known to play other sports. He controls the court in basketball, as seen in the Howard Stern Cribs episode. Man, somebody really needs to sign him before he gets too old to play. But alongside his ability to dunk orange balls, he's been known to hit them out of the park in baseball. Just don't let him play near any windows or crowded areas. The environment isn't ready for his, techniques. His TV show was just a small portion of his vast resume, because he's been in lots of different TV shows and movies. He was a supporting character in the film Bubble Boy. He had a cameo appearance in Scary Movie 2, he appeared in Son of the Beach, he had a part in the show Doggy Fizzle Televizzle, and had some major on-screen time in the video game True Crime New York City. Man, I haven't seen that game in years. Really takes me back.
Hey, friends, over here. Be quick.
With all the TV, movie, and video game money pouring in, he was too real for the business and didn't let the cash flow go to his head, but he did take control of the situation that he was in. Every man that fits an important role in business deserves to have his own power office where he can make business boom. And Beat did show off his battle station in his Cribs episode, but he's also firm when it comes to his exchanges. He would not accept anything below what he deserved, always coming out on top in every scenario. This strong but respectable demeanor has understandably caught him some negative attention. To put it simply, he's had several beefs during his career. The most significant of these would be his ongoing issues with Hank the Angry Drunken Dwarf. There was a particular incident where the two got into a heated debate in a hallway before they were about to go live on the radio. Some unpleasant words were exchanged, particularly about size, orientation, and of course race. Another instance of his feuding with others can be seen in his relationship with Dominic, another height-challenged person that Beat used to work with during his Dwarf Tossing days. The two generally get along and have no real issues working together, but according to Beetlejuice, Dominic shit in his pants. No, like, Dominic didn't shit in his own pants, but rather Beat's. Dom would also give Beat grief about wearing diapers, but there's no shame in sporting some Huggies if you're just gonna shit up your briefs, so Beat shouldn't have been embarrassed. His ire has even reached professional athletes, like Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather appeared on The Stern Show for an interview and at one point mentioned his admiration for Beat, praising his prowess. Beat interpreted this as shit talk and called into the show to tear Floyd a new one. It's also worth noting that Beetlejuice has broken down Mayweather's fighting style and has given a scholarly analysis of its many flaws.
How about Mayweather?
Mayweather, he had his hands all down like this.
That's how Mayweather fights, right?
He keeps his hands and he goes like this. Every time Bobby Bob comes to the ring, every time he ain't even have his hands up. He just keeps his hands down like this.
Who, Mayweather?
Yeah, he always keeps his hands down like this.
Another hard hitter that Beat has talked about is Mike Tyson. TMZ was able to catch a few minutes with Beetlejuice when he was out in the city, asking Beat all kinds of questions about his career and his many varying opinions. He stated that Mike Tyson is a bitch and he'd beat his ass. Tyson has never responded to Beat's claims, possibly because he's ducking a potential match. I don't know about you, but my money would obviously have to be on Beat. Hell, Beat's involvement with a sport would actually make me care about it for once. But maybe I'm spending too much time talking about the negative side of his personal and professional endeavors. On a lighter note, Beat is a ladies' man. He's an irresistible stud who gets all the women and beats up all kinds of coochie. To put it simply, he knows what the ladies like. He knows how to work that slick tongue of his and has no problem spending all day fucking, because that's what playboys and rock stars do.
Come here, baby. Open your legs so I can stick my big black fucking lips up in that black pussy.
The ladies especially love it when Beat takes hot baths and lathers himself up with baby oil afterwards, showing off his impressive musculature. Man, what I wouldn't give to be half as sexy. I'm gonna go out on a whim and say that Beat is probably a great kisser. He keeps the few teeth he's got very clean. But all in all, regardless of how much information I can compile and make it as digestible as possible, Beat's story is the stuff of legends. There is unfortunately very little public documentation on him, so the simplest solution to build up a beefy document requires you to sit and listen to hours upon hours of The Stern Show, which I gleefully did, of course. After several days of research and cross-referencing, I'm pretty confident in saying that Beetlejuice is most definitely an enigma. There will never be another man quite as fascinating, puzzling, or attractive as Lester Green. Despite his physical and intellectual ailments, he has pushed through whatever life has thrown at him. He's easily one of the best guests to ever appear on The Stern Show. He's one of the most prolific boxers in the entire history of the sport. He has been blessed with the gift of gab and has a way with women that likely can't be replicated. Beetlejuice is, by all means, undeniably, verifiably, as bad as can. He knows he's the best. But unfortunately, that's going to be the end for today's video. If you like what I do, leave a comment, rate, and subscribe. If you want to support me in a more personal way, you can check out the Patreon link and the Teespring link in the description. I've got more content coming down the pipeline. But until then, I'll see you degenerates next time.